Hey everyone, can you sense it? Can you smell it? Can you feel it in the air? I can. Liberty is rising in Canada. And today is a great day to be alive if you're a libertarian or someone that actually genuinely cares about personal responsibility and individual liberty. Because out there on that big political landscape in Canada, you know, that place where mostly cronies and corporatists and collectivists reside and exist and seem to flourish. Well, now we're seeing the political landscape being shaken up by Maxine Bernie. Mad Max himself has said, you know what, I'm done playing these games with these crony conservatives or these wannabe conservatives. There's nothing conservative about them, and that's the truth of the matter, folks. If you look in Canada, there's all kinds of political parties that will represent and promote leftism or collectivism or top-down authoritarianism or completely central planning the economy and setting social policies that's completely restrictive and infringing on everybody's rights. They're inalienable and God-given rights, I might add. Maxime saying, I'm not playing these games no more. You conservatives want to play your game, you want to keep playing this stuff, or you're just, you know, speaking out one side of your mouth while at the same time doing the exact opposite of what you say you're going to stand up for? Yeah, no. You want to play those games? You go ahead and play those games. I'm going to start out my own venture and create my own. Just like Maxine Bernie, I am a libertarian. Matter of fact, I am the Canadian libertarian. And when it comes to liberty, without media misrepresenting or misinforming you what it truly entails, which is what the establishment media does, or the established political parties, they're scared of real liberty, of real freedom. But you know what? Like I say, this is the age of information. And with social media being the counterbalance or offering us a counter venue to go against the establishment media or the political propagandists that want to maintain the establishment, the status quo, yeah, we can actually make this happen, folks. And you're seeing, I mean, listen, I've been talking about this stuff now going on a decade, all right? The better part of a decade. And I've seen how libertarianism went from being something so obscure, even the very most Canadians didn't even know what it means, but I guarantee a lot of them out there, you know what it means now. And if you don't, or once you hear about Maxine Bernie and the fact that he is a libertarian himself, that might pique your curiosity. And once you start looking up what it means to be a libertarian and what, you never want to go back to statism. You never want to go back to full-on central planning. You don't never want to go back to authoritarianism. Now, the battle of the minds, the battle of ideas is happening not just in the U.S. and in the U.K. and some of these other Western countries, but it's happening big time in Canada. And Maxime is just one guy, all right? He's just one dude. I'm just one dude. Tim Mullen. We're just individuals. But, yeah, you know, you people said, oh, what can one person do? Watch and learn. Because it's happening, and we're making big strides. And it's only going to continue to get better from here on out. Oh, you best believe we're going to be attacked. Oh, yeah, the media will be relentless. But at the same time, just like with Donald Trump, the more the media has to cover you, the more the media attacks you, the more you and your name and your principles and your philosophy gets out there. Anyways, first and foremost, what I'm going to do in this video, before I even get into all the, what is it? Just in CBC alone in the last, 2 or 3 days, I've seen at least 7 or 8 different articles covering this. And the term libertarian being brought into the equation, which is, once again, like I say, once all they got to do, this is the age of information, this is the age of internet. Just search up libertarianism, and you'll see the Canadians will be more or less on board. And it ain't just conservatives. No. A lot of people that identify as liberals, that identify as liberals in the classical sense, yeah, they'll be completely on board with Maxine Bernie. So it's not just people on the so-called right, which is basically non-existent in Canada as far as political party goes, but even those on the left, or those who would consider themselves centrists, you better believe that they're going to identify and associate with the kind of stuff that Maxime Bernie espouses because of his libertarian leanings and because his principled stance on both social and economic issues and policies. Anyways, I'm just going to read from MaxineBernier.com. This is a post he made to explain why he's leaving the Conservative Party of Canada. And this is published on August 23rd, 2018. Over the past few months, I have been raising policy issues which I believe are crucially important for the future of our country. This is my job as a member of Parliament. Moreover, it is my duty as a Conservative member of Parliament to contribute to debates and to offer policy solutions from a Conservative perspective. Otherwise, what is the point of being involved in politics? I am in politics to defend ideas, real Conservative ideas, because I passionately care about Canada's future, because I know that the free market Conservative philosophy has the best solutions to ensure our society is more prosperous, secure, and peaceful. And you know that a lot of Canadians believe in that and promote the exact same values. However, my party's stand on several issues have convinced me that under the current leadership, it has all but abandoned its core Conservative principles. Oh, you're so right, Maxine. Yeah, Conservatives, like I say, was it like in the U.S. they call them rhinos, Republican, and well, in Canada we call them, I guess, kinos, Conservatives in name only, because the Conservative Party hasn't been conservative for as long as I can basically remember. Think about it. Even in Ontario, what do they call it? The progressive Conservatives, which is weird. Like, well, wait a minute. Are you left? Are you right? Or which is it? Apparently you don't have any actual genuine platform that you stand on. That's the thing. Instead of having 3 different parties to choose from that are all about collectivism, central planning, and quasi-socialism, how about we give Canadians a real, genuine alternative? You know, a party that actually stands on principle firmly and convicted to maintaining and promoting individual liberty. Oh, he's preaching to the choir here. I'm all about that. I still cannot understand how a party that is supposed to defend free markets supports a small cartel that artificially increases the price of milk, chicken, and eggs for millions of Canadian consumers. Yeah, I hear you. I don't understand that either. What's up with that, right? Well, apparently they're not genuine conservatives unless, what? You want to conserve cronyism? You want to conserve socialism? Because that's about the only thing they're trying to conserve, right? More importantly, supply management has become one of the main stumbling blocks for an agreement with the United States on NAFTA. Former Conservative leader Brian Mulroney and Rona Ambrose agreed that it should be put on the table. But the Conservative Party has been siding with the Liberal government. It also supports the retaliatory tariffs of the Liberal government, even though it is going to hurt our businesses and consumers. Even though Canada has no realistic chance of winning a trade war with a neighbor 10 times larger, even though we could successfully relaunch the negotiations if we put supply management on the table and if we accept President Trump's offer to negotiate a dismantling of all barriers as the European Union has done. Yeah, so Trump put out there, I don't know if you've seen that, folks, but Trump put out there, you know, when the European Union tried to play a little bit of politics with him, said, hey, listen, you want real free trade? You want to talk about free trade? Well, let's just get rid of all these barriers. Let's tariffs and duties and taxes and excise fees and all. Yeah, hey, you want free trade? Let's do free trade. And the European Union is like, well, I guess that's a better option than continually circling the drain and going down, 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 both socially and economically. And Trump's right. If you want to have genuine free trade, well, hey, you got to get rid of all this cronyism. You got to get rid of all this central planning, this picking winners or losers in the economy. The Liberals are playing politics with this crucially important trade file. They are endangering the 20% of our economy that depends on trade with the U.S. and Canada's future prosperity. But instead of leading as a principled conservative and defending the interest of Canada and Canadians, Andrew Scheer is following the Trudeau Liberals. I was told that internal polls are showing that the Liberals' response to Trump is popular, and that in 6 months, if the polls change, the party stand may change too. The same thing happened in reaction to my tweets on diversity and multiculturalism. This is another crucial debate for the future of our country. Do we want to emphasize our ethnic and religious difference and exploit them to buy votes, as Liberals are doing, or emphasize what unites us and the values that can guarantee social cohesion? Right? Yeah, it's all about the ideas. And I'm with Maxine completely there. And this is where I guess we have a little bit of difference with those that would be considered on the alt-right, or those who actually do promote white nationalism. Yeah, no, it's all about the ideas, folks. I don't give a shit, just like Maxime. I don't care about your color of your skin, where you came from, right? Something that's happened in your past or who you were then. If you are a person today that stands up and promotes individual liberty, personal responsibility, and accountability, and understands what the philosophy of liberty means and entails, get on board. I don't care if you're green, white, black, blue, orange, brown, whatever. It's all about the ideas, folks, and that's what Maxine Bernie is pointing out. So you want to talk about the people that are truly divisive and racist and all about identity politics, look no further than the conservatives and the liberals, who just want to put you all into your little tribal corners and pit you against each other. Maxime, or people like myself, saying, no, you don't have to do that. No, you don't have to join any of these tribes. You can just be an individual that stands up firm in your convictions on principle. And screw playing this race baiting or the resentment and envy playbook that they've been playing for far, far too long. Just like in other Western societies grappling with this issue, a large number of Canadians, and certainly the vast majority of conservatives, are worried that we are headed in the wrong direction. But it's not politically correct to raise such questions. And once again, another beautiful thing that I love about Maxine Bernier and people that stand up for genuine freedom and liberty is the rejection of identity politics and political correctness. Those are actually the very things that close off the mind of the masses and prevent us from actually progressing properly. Not in the progressive collective sense, but progressing properly as a people, as a society, as those who care about liberty and what it entails. Instead of leading the debate and pushing back against all the unfair accusations, Andrew Scheer chose to avoid the controversy. What a wimp. He and several of my colleagues disavowed me. They are so afraid of criticism by the left and the media that they prefer to let down millions of supporters across the country who would like us to tackle the issue. When the Liberal government recently renewed the unfair and inefficient equalization formula for another 5 years, I was the only one to criticize it. Not a word from my Conservative colleagues, which is just on a large scale. Instead of your small welfarism or collectivism on a small scale, I mean, in Canada, these equalization payments is wealth redistribution on a grand scale, where you take from the productive members of society in particular provinces and give to others, or the have-nots, or the inept, or the corrupt, or the lazy, and prop them up with the dollars earned by people that actually do the hard work in this country. And that's wrong no matter how you look at it. No matter what province you come from, it's always wrong to steal from the productive people in society to give to those who refuse to be productive members of society, or who just want to live and reside based on forced income and wealth redistribution. Those parasites that don't take no issue with stealing from others or letting the government steal from others to prop them up. Yeah, we really got to do something about that. That's another file that needs to be talked about a lot more than it has been. A conservative party that supports free markets should also advocate the end of corporate welfare. Once again, Maxine preaching to the choir here, because I agree wholly. This crony corporations, no wonder, just like with your kids, think about crony corporations as just, adolescent children that you're trying to raise. Well, if you keep bailing them out every time they screw up, are they ever going to learn anything? Are they ever going to learn to stand on their own 2 feet? Are they ever going to be able to put into practice what they are supposed to be presenting, whether it's, proper business model or ethics, if you don't give them the opportunity or force them to have to do so? No. They'll just continue to use the taxpayers as a means, as a measure to continue to prop them up and bail them out at every time, at every junction. And we've seen that happen so many times in Canada. I don't even know. Yeah, I could probably count them, but it might take a while because it's a lot. It is not only the principled thing to do, it could also be popular if we defend it in a consistent way. Canadians are tired of paying taxes to bail out Bombardier, Ford, and other businesses. Ford, he might have misspoke a little bit there, Bernier. Maybe he was thinking about GM and Chrysler, because actually those were the two corporations in the auto sector that were bailed out by the Canadian taxpayers. But he did leave out the big banks. Don't forget about the big banks, Maxime. All the big banks were bailed out massively under the Harper regime. So, yeah, once again, conservatives, free market guys? No, I don't think so. Instead of taking up this idea, Andrew Scheer announced that he would name a regional minister for all the regional development agencies in the country, as opposed to having only one minister overseeing them, as is the case now. He wants a minister from Quebec to distribute subsidies to Quebec, a minister from Atlantic Canada to distribute subsidies to Atlantic Canada, and so on. The Conservative solution should be to abolish these wasteful agencies. What my party proposes is to make them more efficient at buying votes with taxpayers' money. How can we expect this party to adopt any conservative reform when it comes to power, if it cannot even articulate a clear stand and defend them before it is elected? I am now convinced that what we will get if Andrew Scheer becomes Prime Minister is just a more moderate version of the disastrous Trudeau government. I agree. I have come to realize over the past year that this party is too intellectually and morally corrupt to be reformed. I know for a fact that many in the caucus privately oppose supply management, but buying votes in a few key ridings is more important than defending the interests of all Canadians. The whole strategy of the party is to play identity politics, pander to various interest groups, and buy votes with promises, just like the Liberals. The Conservative Party tries to avoid important but controversial issues of concern to Conservatives and Canadians in general. It is afraid to articulate any coherent philosophy to support its position. Every public declaration is tested with polls and focus groups. The result is a bunch of platitudes that don't offend anybody, but also don't mean anything and don't motivate anyone. It's so true. Andrew Scheer keeps talking about his positive conservative vision, but nobody knows what that vision is. I'm still waiting to hear it. The Conservative Party has abandoned Conservatives. It does not represent them anymore and has nothing of substance to offer Canadians looking for a political alternative. If we want Conservative principles to win the battle of ideas, we have to defend them openly, with passion and conviction. That is what I want to do. And this is why, as of today, I am no longer a member of the Conservative Party Canada. I want to do politics differently. I will find another way to give a voice to millions of Canadians, and I will continue to fight for freedom, responsibility, fairness, and respect. And you know what, Maxime? You just know. You got people like myself, you got people like Tim Owen, and a whole lot of others out there that are standing up and willing and chomping at the bit to help you out in your endeavor. Now, I won't join into politics, although, you know what? The more this goes on, right, the more I see this, the more you're enticing me that maybe I should jump in the fray. Hey, oh, whoa, 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 right? I know crazy stuff to hear from someone like myself. But like I say, I'm getting inspired, folks, to see this happening because I've been paying attention, and I'm finally seeing that the fruits of our efforts is finally coming to fruition. And I got to tell you, it's somewhat emboldened me. Not that I want to join politics, like I say, I like most principled people. I would rather avoid it. But you know what? There's another thing that we all have to recognize. As much as you would wish to avoid politics, and a lot of us do in Canada. What is it? 40% now? What is it? Over 10 million don't even bother to vote. But you know what? Truth of the matter is, politics doesn't avoid us. We can try to avoid it, but politics is going to have a dramatic effect on our social and economic lives, whether we like it or not. So, ignoring it? No, that's not a strategy. That's not a strategy that's going to help you anyways. But as much as I detest politics as well, sometimes you just have to stoop down to that level, or at the very least, delve into the fray, so that you can at least show the Canadian people or anyone else that you want to hear or anyone else that you want to inspire. So at least you can point out to them and show them by leading by example that, hey, there is an alternative source. There is an alternative way. There's an alternative method to bringing about genuine freedom and liberty, both socially and economically in Canada. And if it means you have to delve into politics, well, unfortunately, you may have to do so. Unfortunately, at some point, I may even have to do so. At this point, though, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and ramping up and stepping up my efforts to support people such as Maxine Bernie, people such as Tim Owen, and others out there on the political landscape that are truly standing up for individual rights, freedom, liberty, and personal responsibility. I'll post a link to this release from MaxineBernier.com in the description of the video below. But yeah, I want you out there, listen, we're not playing peanuts no more, folks. We shouldn't be even conceiving or perceiving ourselves as just, what, fringe like the political hacks or the media pundits try to put out. No, we are a force to be reckoned with in Canada. We libertarians, classical liberals or genuine conservatives. Hey, the tent's big enough that we can all fit under it because we all basically espouse and promote the same things. So let's do that. Let's step it up, and let's bring about this modern era of enlightenment that's going to create genuine freedom and liberty for people in Canada. Let's step up our game, folks, because liberty, freedom, yeah, it's popular. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.